My brother from another mother, Adam Curry. How are you, sir?
Glenn, twice in 1 week. I don't know what's happening.
I know. It's crazy. Well, I have such a long list of things to talk to you. By the way, that podcast is off the charts. Off the charts good.
It was a lot of fun, and you're a very gracious host. Your staff is so wonderful, and really, I think we could just talk, without cameras or microphones or anything. We just talk anytime about anything. I love it.
I know, and we don't necessarily agree on everything, but that's totally cool. I mean, I find you a smart, reasonable human being, and I learn something from you every time. Anyway, one thing that we didn't get to in the podcast, which, by the way, Adam Curry is the podcast this weekend, wherever you get your podcast, tomorrow, also on YouTube, and Blaze TV, it's already there. The one thing we didn't get to is something that I just can't figure out in two directions. One, if 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we would have said, yes, and spokespeople from the Pentagon have verified that aliens are circling the planet and tracking our nuclear sites, and we even have a piece of alien technology. That would have been a big deal. But now they're saying this, and nobody cares. And I don't know if you're just so focused on other things, if people don't believe it, if we should believe it. What's going on with the alien thing?
Oh, well, it's interesting you say 15 years ago, because that's literally about the timeline when I started with No Agenda and when I started looking into conspiracies, so-called conspiracies. And I really decided pretty quickly that I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy therapist. And I did a lot of, I was living in the UK at the time, and I was very into, aliens and the tall blondes and the grays and all of this stuff. Yeah. And I flew to places to meet people who would claim to, know an alien. And I never got any confirmation whatsoever. And you're right. That's also, I think, because the media is so, everything is media now. It's not just, Walter Cronkite saying, hey, look, these pilots are saying that they've seen UFOs. So I have looked into this, and there's part logical explanation, and then there is, of course, a conspiracy that goes along with it. And what we've seen since, I think, 2014 is a lot of radar images, the Tic Tac. We've seen radar images from submarines where things appear and then disappear.
And we've seen actual footage, they say, from fighter pilots and Navy and Air Force pilots recording these things, doing things that are way beyond technology, at least that we know of.
Well, this technology actually has been discussed openly. And again, notice that the footage we're seeing is radar footage. It's not cameras that are taking a picture of this thing flying and, at unbelievable speeds going under the water, et cetera. It's radar footage. And it was a Harvard professor who in the 70s started talking about this. His name is Professor Robert Duncan. What this really is, this particular phenomenon, which I can speak to, they're directed energy weapons. And I'm not talking about laser beams that melt you or anything, but much more like a laser pointer in the sky, and they excite the electrons in the atmosphere, so this ionization that takes place. And this shows up on radar. And this is military technology that was created to make a fleet appear all of a sudden. So the concept was, you make all these ships appear all of a sudden. Our adversary, wherever they would be, would see this, would get their fighter planes in the air and go off and try to attack them. Then they disappear, and then we would come in from the other directions and attack that flank. And it really is nothing more than that. It's really good technology because it actually leaves radar traces. It's almost like a laser pointer in the sky. And if you think about that Tic Tac, like you're the cat in the fighter plane, you're looking at your radar, you see this thing, and it goes whoop, under the water and all over the place, and it does things that seem impossible. Now, the conspiracy part of this is something called Project Bluebeam. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So Project Bluebeam, the idea, and this developed over time as well, is that this very technology would be used to create the voice of God. And it could be used two ways. One, to bring the whole world together, New World Order, everybody all focused on one thing, which would either be the common enemy, the aliens are coming, or the voice of God, which you can use the same technology to create sound waves, which would bring a message to unite the world. And I'm pretty steadfast in believing that this is what this is about. Now, why people aren't freaking out about it? There's so much to freak out about.
No, I know. But
people are obsessed with Target.
Yeah, I know. But Target versus alien life that is here seems. I would tip the scales towards the alien life thing. But I just can't figure it. I just can't figure it out. And why is the government making such a big deal? The Pentagon and the leaks, and then the officials coming out and saying what they are, Congress, and then no one picking it up. It just seems really odd.
Yeah, I can. Speaking to the military and Congress, that to me would be the blue beam part of it, saying, hey, let's get everyone either A, very afraid, which is kind of the model, aliens, or let's unite everybody under one common voice of God, like Reagan, like get everyone together. Why people don't care about it? I mean, that literally just has to be because we're so used to fake everything. We're looking at screens all day that is not reality. We see imagery that is, created by, AI, call it Photoshop, AI, whatever you want. We see, we're so used to things that are just not real. I think we've become anesthetized against it. And like, whatever, we can handle that. Bring us aliens. Maybe people will be happy to see it.